Meet the black press. How about that? Because they don't let the black press on Meet the Press. Matter of fact, last week after Blue Wave, they had a bunch of conservatives on Meet the Press because, that's what defense contractors who buy the ads want to see. They didn't even have Democrats on. Anyway, did I say that? I'm sorry. Was I not supposed to say that? 10 minutes past the hour. Bobby Henry is with the Westside Gazette down in Fort Lauderdale, I believe. He's a publisher of the Westside Gazette, and he joins us now. Let's see what's going on down in Florida. He's a big Andrew Gillum supporter, too, as are we. Brother Henry, how are you this morning, man?
Good morning, Brother Mark Thomas. How you doing, man? I'm just so glad to be here. I look at it as a privilege, man, to be in the listening audience of brothers and sisters out there like yourself. I just find it a pleasure to be able to sit in for Dr. Chavis, who's on a plane and couldn't make this phone call. So I was asked to fill in, and it's always an honor when you're asked to be at the presence of such iconic figures. So I am elated, man, and I'm just glad to be here.
Well, it's an honor to have you, man. I have a great deal of respect for you and all that our black newspapers do and accomplish. We need you. We need you all to continue to hold up the bloodstained banner.
Hey, man, thank you so much for that. If we can get a whole lot of other people to remember that, we'll be all right, But it's because of people like yourself and those who came before us that we're able to do this, and we do this unabashedly. We're not ashamed. We're not afraid. We're doing what we are supposed to do. Amen. And so I'm glad, man. So you asked me the questions and let me answer them.
Well, look, the most important thing we want to talk about, give us what's you all's latest reporting on the recount. Now, from my understanding, we know the Senate race is going into a hand recount. Mm-hmm. Where is the governor's race right now? Are you able to update us on that?
Well, I know just as much as probably as anybody else because of what has transpired. Yesterday at about 3:05, I was listening to the report, and we still had 10 minutes to go with the time allotted for us to count the ballots. And then as I came home and was listening to some more reports and got a phone call, I was told that we didn't make the deadline. So after doing some further investigation, it was brought to my attention that there was a worker who was not aware of the process of checking in with this electronic website thing, and we didn't make the deadline. So as it stands right now, really, and this is not official, but we don't have a chance, man. The numbers are as such as what they were on the day that they were counted because of this technicality that a worker incompetence caused us to miss the deadline, according to the latest report.
Now, my understanding too, from Count Every Vote Florida, at Florida Recount on Twitter, a court ruling yesterday gave thousands of voters who were disenfranchised because of signature mismatch until tomorrow, Saturday, to fix their ballots. Mm-hmm. So apparently that's still going on. If you're having an issue because of a signature, because they were throwing folks out on the signature mismatch.
Absolutely.
As if people don't sign their signature different ways, different times.
Right.
My signature is not precisely the same every time I sign it.
Mm-hmm.
So that would suggest to me that it's still ongoing in terms of the recount for governor if the court extended it to Saturday. I mean, I'm just guessing that's what that is.
Right, Mark. And I don't want to give any misinformation.
Okay.
I haven't spoken to anybody in the office yet. They'll be available around 9 o'clock or something like that, and I'll get an official report. But there was some conversation about the legality of the signatures. You're absolutely right with that. The thing that is pending or that is frustrating is the fact that we missed that deadline by 2 minutes. Okay. And those on the other side are stressing that point that we missed that deadline. Now, whether those votes be counted, will that be enough to put Brother Gillum over? It's hard to say. But what I have seen that has really been disheartening is the fact that the people who voted for Senator Nelson outnumbered those who voted for Gillum over 40,000 votes. Now, if we were true to what we were led to believe to vote those who did it, who voted strictly by party, then some of those party voters did not vote for Gillum, even though those who voted for Gillum voted for Nelson. So the problem stems a little deeper than what we're willing to take a look at. Now, I'm a staunch Democrat. I cannot run from that, nor will I shy from that. But the fact that we were told and that we should vote those who did it, vote party line, and that didn't hold up true on the other side. So the issues that we're seeing and is that there still is this division that comes based upon color. Matters not the party. When you go behind those closed doors and you vote, it's obvious that it doesn't matter the party. It's about a color issue, and that's where we are on this thing.
So the reporting from MSNBC last night from Ari Melber, and actually we have that audio. Let's take a listen. Let's take a listen to this. This is
while this manual recount proceeds under breaking news out here in Broward County, and I mean breaking. We just got this. Broward County now admits they submitted their recount numbers 2 minutes late, and thus, under the rules, the results apparently will not count. I want to tell you exactly what that means. The entire developments, the drama, the protests, the counting, everything that's been going on behind me the last few days, according to this breaking news tonight, that would be for nothing, because the state is going to use the original vote totals while this manual recount proceeds under state law. Can't make it up.
So that's the latest, I think, that's out there. The Tampa Bay Times is saying that the machine recount confirms Ron DeSantis is Florida's next governor. That is the headline at the Tampa Bay Times at this hour. The results of the statewide machine recount, which rolled by the Thursday 3 p.m. deadline, solidified what was expected. Ron DeSantis, and then they have in parentheses, is probably Florida's next governor. So it's still it's unclear still whether this is over. Man, what was up with Broward though? I mean, is there a reason why they were behind? Or do we know?
Okay, now, the thing that I found out was, again, the person who was responsible for inputting that information on the website was not familiar with that process. So therefore, he didn't do it in the time frame he was supposed to, because he was not familiar with how to do it, and that caused this whole thing to happen. Like I say, at 3:05, when I got the news, we were 10 minutes ahead of time. And then at 6-something, when I got a call, we are now, we have missed the deadline by 2 minutes. And with the further investigation, one of the workers was not familiar with the process of inputting information to that website, and he threw us off by 2 minutes. Yeah, it was a technicality and a human error. You know, unfortunately, and I don't want to be disparaging in my comments when it comes to workers, but it's kind of difficult when you're under pressure and you're relying on somebody else to do something, and that person is not familiar with the process, maybe because we didn't think it would get to this point. Whatever the case may be, that person was not qualified to do that particular task at that time, which caused us to not meet the deadline. And Florida, you know, the world knows we've been under scrutiny since 2000 about our election process, the process, and all that surrounds it. But Mark, I got to talk to you straight.
Come on.
You know, when people that person that sits in the White House has decided, and his cronies and those who affiliate themselves with him, that they're going to look at this thing from a biased eye based upon the color of somebody's skin. When they have done that, there is extreme difficult for anybody to come out from beneath that scrutiny once they have made their mind up that this person of this particular color is not qualified to do the job. So there's nothing that anybody can do after that fact. Once a person has interjected race into an equation, it's difficult for them to move beyond that because the standards have already been set. When DeSantis came in and said, don't monkey up,
that's right,
whatever.
Set the tone.
Yeah, he had already said it, had already put it in place. And then it's difficult to roll back from that when the leader is telling you, you're right, that person is incompetent. That, because this lady sits here, so it has already been marred and stuck in doo-doo. And it's difficult to pull back from that once you have viewed this thing from a racial standpoint, and that's what has happened.
Well, now, you're talking about Andrew Gillum, but the same thing happened with Brenda Snipes, didn't it? Yep,
absolutely. And that's where I'm honing in at. I was at the protest, if you will, on the first day. And Mark, it was so disheartening, man, to see. It was like you had set up two pit bulls to fight. You had a line drawn. You had DeSantis and Trump folk on one side, and you had Gillum folk on the other. The first day, it was really outnumbered. The red side outnumbered the blue side, but it was just vicious human negativism at its most, at its worst, and it was just mind-boggling. I couldn't believe it, and to talk to these people out there, and to know that they actually would die and go to hell based upon their feeling about Trump and DeSantis. That was one of the things that I hadn't witnessed all my life. So that vile hatred was something to see, and it just carried over. It has split. I know it split our county, and I know it has split the country. Mm-hmm. This ideology of Trumpism versus right versus wrong.
Right.
So,
well, folks. Again, our guest, very special guest, Bobby Henry, the publisher of the Westside Gazette. As you know, we focus on the black press. Meet the black press here on Make It Plain. It has split the country so much so. I would offer Bobby Henry. That's why the Florida race was so important. I think it's no surprise Democrats won the House. Mm-hmm. But when Andrew won that primary, that was icing on the cake. Yes. In terms of us having a shot at taking Florida. And it really, that race down there became so big, if you notice, that's why some of us, even after winning the House, still feel like we're disappointed because of what happened in Florida. That's how big Andrew's race became.
It was so big, Mark, that we got calls off from all across the country. What can we do? How can we support this brother? What is it that we need to do? Yeah. It was galvanizing, people all across the country. And like you said, when he won the primary and he beat those billionaires, it was, oh man, we got something happening here.
Right.
And all of a sudden, here comes the rhetoric. Here comes the hatred. Here comes everything that America was supposed to stand for has now been flipped, and it's all dumping on his head. The brother came up from humble beginnings, man. He came from a working class black family. He endured some stuff, and he was able to galvanize the people from sincerity. He admitted he made one mistake by listening to his brother. He admitted that. How often do you find a man who's willing, in a position running for governor, to admit he did something that maybe he should have spent some more time realizing it, but openly admitted it and still held firm in his convictions for the people? He he galvanized us. He crossed all boundaries.
Yeah.
And in doing that, man, he put a bullseye on his back from those who didn't, who were afraid of the browning of America. In our top story this week, the question we asked, I said the war on drugs is one thing, but the war to count every vote is another thing. And then I asked the question, is Brenda Snipes' character and job a casualty of war? This thing has manifested itself into an actual war. Gillum was a foot soldier, and he was commanding others to be like him. And in doing that, the country got scared. And now you see it folding out in this election process. Bill Nelson, an older white gentleman, Democrat, got more votes because of Andrew Gillum. Bill Nelson got caught up in the tornado that was created by Andrew's steam and what he was doing.
Right.
But Andrew couldn't receive the trickle-down effect from Bill Nelson.
Well, but the sad part about it is we'll never know because these votes aren't going to be counted.
Well, you're right. But based upon the numbers that were turned in at the beginning, I got some numbers right here. Let me see if I can pull them up. I got some numbers. Okay. Now, it says that 43,324 more voted for Nelson in the senatorial race than what happened to Andrew. Andrew got 4,075,467 at this time. DeSantis got 4,085,100. Now, if those 43,000 votes more for Nelson would have went to Gillum, he would have won it by a landslide, man. We wouldn't be at this point. So we got some serious work to do in reconciling our Democratic Party. We got some serious work to do. And it needs to, we need to sit down and really discuss openly. I know in Florida we do. Florida Democratic Party has not always been a champion for people who look like us running in races. And this goes back. We brought this to the forefront of them some years ago, So it's a problem that we have to deal with. America is accepting this. Stacey, the sister, is doing a hell of a job, and I pray to God that she continues on doing what she's doing. But across this country, we got to come out and recognize we have a problem and deal with it and not just be hoodwinked. I believe what Dr. William Barber says about moral dissent. It's not about, from his standpoint, a party, a Republican Party, a Democratic Party, an Independent Party. It's about what's right and what's wrong, man.
Right.
And we got to get to that point to understand that.
So back to what you're saying, I see you've written about Brenda Snipes as well.
Yeah.
Is she a casualty in this? I mean, she pledged. She was very outspoken in saying that her office would get this done in time. And it didn't happen. So I mean, what are the consequences?
Okay, here we go. Remember now,
Okay.
you can have the best laid plan, and what the old saying is, it's kind of hard to fly with eagles when you're working with buzzards, or somebody else has a different motive than yours. It's difficult. Miss Snipes is a hell of a sister, strong sister. And she was trying her best to get this done.
Right.
And it's not the first time. She's been under fire before, but she has come through. A lot of folk thought, okay, since Jeb Bush appointed her, that she was a Republican. She's a Democrat, and she's a strong sister. So it's not her. Now,
and mind you, Jeb Bush is now turned on her publicly.
I know. I'm telling you, Mark, you know, bro, you own it. You're absolutely right. We endorsed Jeb Bush when he ran. Now, I'm telling you, and that was because of what he stood for. His platform was good.
You mean the paper that you mean the Westside Gazette endorsed?
Yes, this was years ago. This was before, this was, when Jeb Bush was Jeb Bush, when he recognized his commonality, when he was, his issues. So, and I took a lot of flack for it, but because of what he was doing for the common people and what he stood for, it was good. And all of a sudden, he switched. So that didn't happen anymore. Mm-hmm.
I see.
And remember, this was years ago now. It wasn't nothing like yesterday.
And then he stole the election in 2000.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this isn't good, man, because you know what they're going to do. They're going to say that the black woman messed it up. I mean, they're literally going to say that she monkeyed it up for the black gubernatorial candidate by not getting those votes in.
It's going to all fall back on her and those whose vision has already been tainted because they don't believe that a person of color is qualified to do anything.
Right.
You're right. They're going to jump on it with all 4 feet.
But what about the 2 minutes? Can't we go to court or something? It was 2 minutes. 2 minutes. I mean,
and believe me, when this happened, the attorneys, 5 of them, immediately went and tried to bring some remedy to this. Again, I don't know. I haven't spoken to anybody from that side yet this morning. But as of last night, it was difficult. It was, oh my God, what are we gonna do?
Yeah. Okay.
I can't believe this happened. You know, that's what it was. It was human error. You know.
All right.
And unfortunately, man, Brenda has her. Pardon my expression, has a neck in a noose. You know, and they're willing to pull the trap door, man.
Yeah.
And that's another thing I must say, Mark. You know, across this country, we as black men, I know black women are doing great, and I love black women. My mama was a black woman. My sisters, my wife, you know, I love black women. But God, I almost cussed him. Where are the black men, man? We got to stand up. We got to stand up and be counted for. You know, all of our black elected officials across this country, if we don't see from this incident that nothing has really changed, you know, they put on a new suit, but it's still the same thing. We're still fighting like we did in the 50s and the 60s. We are still up against that same bull crap. So we have to come up and stand up like we're supposed to. It was a damn shame the way they were treating Miss Snipes. And I'm telling you, you know, first of all, she's a woman, then she's a black woman. And then to have people almost call her the B word, and she stole this, and she should be arrested. She should, you know. And then you look in the crowd, you don't see anybody out there.
But wait a minute though, Bobby. Let me just ask you this, and I hate to, you know, we're just meeting for the first time. I don't want you to think I'm too conspiratorial, but I am.
No.
Did somebody sabotage this?
You know, see, Mark, you bring up a good. I told you, man.
And sabotage her. I mean, you know what I'm saying. This sounds 2 minutes.
Yeah. You got 2 minutes there. Now you also remember now. People there were boxes found with people saying it was ballots, no ballots, it was voting material.
Yeah.
You have workers who left stuff certain places. You had stuff done.
Yeah.
So to answer your question, I would say, this is Bobby Henry talking. I would say that yes, I think there was some sabotage in the making. Yes, I do. 2 minutes, you know, human error. You know, boxes here, you know, stuff there, you know, that's human error. And if you are under the microscope, you know that you got to have people who are qualified to do things. And if you put your trust in them and you find out that you got a Benedict Arnold in the crowd, then you are at the whims of them. So to answer your question, yes, Mark, I don't think you are a conspiratist. You know, God bless his soul. Dick Gregory, one of the best, you know. No, I don't think you're a conspiracist. No. But I do know, and I do think that there has to be an awakening to the point for us to realize, in order for us to move forward, we have to make sure that, number one, there's a coalesce of people with like-thinking minds. And that believe that if you say vote down the card, you're sincere about that, and those people have to believe that. But when you get votes, 40,000 votes differ, that could have put a first-time black man in the governor's office in Florida, one of the key states. You know, we have to really ask ourselves, what is going on? Where are we?
Yeah.
You know.
Let's do this before we go. Let's get a quick call to in. Shelby is in Florida, Shelby on the air with the publisher of the Westside Gazette, Meet the Black Press. Bobby Henry is with us. Go right ahead, Shelby. God bless you.
Good morning, Mark, and we appreciate you and your advocacy, and we ask God to continue to lift you in the charge to keep that you have.
Bless your heart. Thank you.
Good. The gentleman who you have on, let me just bring some clarity to this nonsense. Yes, that T. Willard Fair, that Reverend Holmes man did support that Jeb Bush and went around the state, and that's why we're in this mess right now. You all wanted grant money for this so-called voucher school that we just had a man over there in Pensacola that was arrested given 20 years for mismanagement of the state tax dollars to divert our public dollars to some private, nonprofit, unaccountable schools. That's what Jeb Bush gave us. Then he came in and stole the election with that Catherine Harris woman for his brother to be the president because you Negroes went there supporting him, giving him some false support that he did not deserve. The man had come in here as a carpetbagger. Now we got this Rick Scott man getting ready to be put up there in the Senate, another carpetbagger, and this DeSantis man who has now, who was a racist, open-facet supporting person in his history, and now we have lost our bright light, Andrew Gillum. This is the problem we have. We have these Negroes who get on this radio who don't give context. I understand that, Mark, this is your first outreach with this man. So the context of this is that T. Willard Fair, that Holmes man, and this man here, and many others who went around the state giving that credibility to that Jeb Bush man who is no good. And now he, who was called low energy by Trump, low T, and all other kinds of mess.
That's why I don't get Trump. Trump ran him down, called the man low T, and then he comes back and defends him. But hold, let me let my guest know. But hold it though. Let me let my guest defend himself because you called him a bunch of names and a Negro and everything.
Right.
So let me
Well, Martin Luther King used the word Negro.
If I could, ma'am, if I could.
Let Bobby respond.
I would ask that you find out who I am, and then we can have a conversation. When I said what I said, Jeb Bush was first in office. He did all of this stuff after the fact. I never, ever ran around the country, the state, supporting Jeb Bush. Let me clarify that. I was not with Willard T. Fair, nor was I with Reverend Holmes in supporting Jeb Bush in that. I have never been a supporter of charter schools, nor will I ever will. I do understand that the Republican Party is behind this charter school incident. I understand that. I am a staunch supporter of HBCUs and public schools. I would ask that you go back and you find out who I am before you take me through the mud. I would allow you to do that out of respect. Everybody has an opinion, but God dog it, it ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun. So in all actuality, please go back and do your research about who Bobby Henry is. Don't ever, please group me with somebody who went around the country supporting a Jeb Bush on initiatives to destroy education. I did not do that. I was appointed to a position by Jeb Bush and resigned from that position once I was aware of this gentleman. So please, ma'am, before you do that, I would ask in all honesty and sincerity that you find out who I am before you call me and group with a bunch of Negroes. and it was under the title of Negroes that we got more stuff accomplished in all of our existence in America. So please, ma'am, if you would do that for me, I would certainly appreciate it.
All right. So, Shelby, thank you for your call. Andy's in Delaware. Andy, God bless you. Good morning. Get woke. Get ready for impeachment. You're on the air with Bobby Henry, the publisher of the Westside Gazette, Meet the Black Press. Andy, what say you?
Good morning, Mark and Mr. Henry.
Good morning.
The day after the election, when it was decided that there was going to be a recount, memes were starting to appear on Facebook about Brenda Snipes. Who knew Brenda Snipes? I don't know who she is. I'm not from Florida. But Brenda Snipes, and under the caption was, Brenda Snipes has stolen more elections than the Russians. And immediately I thought, well, wait a minute. Somebody's just admitted that the Russians stole an election, first of all. And the second thing is there was a campaign immediately, within minutes, launched against her personally as being untrustworthy to to manage a recount and a fair election immediately.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I just want to say that
she
was organized.
Yeah, you're right. This was organized. And I think I don't know if you heard the question I just asked Bobby. This was probably some sabotage in this. Okay? In terms of this whole thing in Broward County and what she did. How is it? Now let's just watch this what you said, Andy. Meme after meme about Brenda Snipes. Everybody attacking Brenda Snipes. Even Jeb Bush, who appointed Brenda Snipes, comes at the man called him low T and everything. He's coming out attacking Brenda Snipes. Brenda Snipes was the deadline. How did they know that Broward County would live up to the meme if it wasn't already sabotaged and set up that way?
Yeah.
See, if you missed the deadline by an hour, that's one thing. Then it's something really must have happened. But if you missed it by 2 minutes, it's just kind of, oh, well, all shucks, Miss Snipes, I didn't put it in time. I think you were trying to be diplomatic, Bobby. You said somebody who was doing this over there just didn't have any experience, didn't know what they were doing. Is that what you said?
Well, yeah. Obviously, he said that he was unaware of how to input this information on this website. He had never been trained to do that.
So where did he come from?
Andy
probably came from Facebook. We're gonna stop calling it FB, but we're gonna call it FSB.
And all of a sudden this happens, and that happens. Wait a minute,
it's a coinky dink that you all saw all those memes about Broward County and Brenda, and then that they would turn theirs in, be the one county that wouldn't get theirs in on time. Do you really think that's a coincidence?
Oh, absolutely not. I mean, first of all, that the fact that her face and name would be the focus point.
Right.
The day after, right? Immediately, let's go after her. Not just you guys are talking about not confident. I'm talking about they use the word steal.
Yeah.
That
yeah.
She's dishonest. Now,
they went all the way in.
Yeah.
They went all the way in.
All the way in.
Yeah.
And she has done this. They claim that this has been done before. And,
no. Look, folks, stay tuned. This story ain't over. We're gonna find out something.
Yeah,
and I know the Westside. Yeah, go ahead.
Is there any recourse at this point at all?
We don't know yet. I don't know. Go ahead, Bobby.
Now, what is happening is, again, like I said last night, those 5 attorneys had put in an injunction to that judge. I don't know the outcome. I haven't seen anything this morning. But as soon as I know something, if there's any hope, any glimmer of hope, I would definitely, Mark, I'll get back with you and let you know.
Yeah, please do. Please do. Please do,
Yeah.
because we need to know all about this. Andy, thank you. Stay tuned, man. We're on it.
Thank you.
Let me get one more before we roll. Jeremy's in Georgia. Jeremy got quarter before the hour. Jeremy, God bless you. Good morning. Meet the Black Press with the Westside Gazette publisher Bobby Henry down in Florida, talking about the recount. What say you, Jeremy? Good morning. God bless you.
Well, good morning, y'all. I'm going to just say this plain and simple as I can. It seemed mighty funny to me that it always wind up being a black person put in the way of the Democrats' failure. Just like it was the lady down there in Florida with the count of votes, all of a sudden Donna Brazile had to be the fall guy for when all that stuff happened at the DNC. It seemed mighty funny to me. But, it speaks to a larger issue, which is we need to quit voting for both of those parties.
Who should we vote for then, Jeremy?
We need to do something besides what we're doing. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different outcome. We've been putting all our faith, trust, and all of that stuff into the Democratic Party. But yet you just said the numbers yourselves. What, 45,000 people voted for Bill Nelson that didn't vote for the black man? And I know a lot of people like to go to Barack Obama. The only problem was Barack Obama was the first race-less president. The Republican Party practices racist politics, and the Democratic Party wants to practice race-less politics, as if race didn't matter in what came about.
I don't.
Black people.
I don't agree with that, Jeremy. I mean, I hear what you're trying to say, but let's bring some clarity.
What I'm saying is this: I asked this question. I mean, I'm not trying to start a fight with y'all or nothing like that. I'm asking it honestly. What has the Democratic Party did for black people in the last past 40 years that has done anything to address
Jeremy,
the debt of slavery that we carry to this very day?
Well, it's done more than the Republican Party. And the problem, too, is, honestly, at this hour, Jeremy, that very question you're asking, what has the Democratic Party done for black people? What good is the Democratic Party? That is may I finish? You just asked me something. Let me talk.
I'm sorry. My bad. Go ahead.
Whether you realize it or not, is the very question and the very meme that was promoted on social media by Russia to discourage black people from voting. Now, we're talking about Florida right now. The attack in Florida is coming from the right, is coming from Republicans. They're trying to scapegoat Brenda Snipes. The Democratic Party ain't trying to scapegoat Brenda Snipes. The Republican Party is.
Then why did 45,000 more Democrats vote for Bill Nelson than they did Andrew Gillum?
Well, we don't know that Bobby, we don't know that they're Democrats, right?
Well, we don't.
Or do we? The number you gave, Bobby, was that just in Broward?
That was just in Broward.
Right. So
no. Let me back up.
Okay,
Hold on. Let me clarify this. Let me pull this up. I do believe that was in totality. That was across the state.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Jeremy, it's not like they're probably on white Democrats who stab us in the back and who are racist.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that doesn't happen, but that happens every day anyway. I mean, so
and that's what I was trying to allude to.
What I'm saying is this, brother. What I'm saying is this.
Jeremy, bro, I really appreciate the way you handling this. You do mean you're trying to find an answer to a situation, and I understand that. And when we have to step outside of ourselves if we're going to understand this. We have to get away from the party issues, because if we start pointing blame, we're going to find out that it's not party. It begins to look at a person's being. And those who do stuff to each other, they don't do it because they're Republican or Democrat. They do it because of whatever self-motivating factor that's in them. So we have to look at that in its totality. We just can't look at a party and say, I'm not going to do this because of this party. I'm not going to do this because of that party. That's not it. That will forever keep us divided.
But sir, the very premise of voting is quid pro quo, something for something. They come into our neighborhoods and ask us for our vote. You got to vote because your ancestors died for it and all this old crazy stuff. What I'm asking is,
wait. What's crazy? Why is it? Why is that? Why is that crazy?
Let you speak. Let me finish.
Why is that crazy? But Jeremy, we had this conversation every time. We had this conversation every time you call.
So he's a regular.
Yeah, he does. I mean, but I give him the room to say what he got to say. My question is, Jeremy, so you just don't think we should vote for them? Who you vote for, Jeremy? If you don't vote for Democrats, who do you vote for?
I voted for Stacey Abrams, number one, just to pick
we wasting time.
But hold on.
We wasting time.
Let me finish.
You still got to vote for Stacey.
Let me finish the answer. What I'm saying is this. Those same people that sat there and told us to vote for because our ancestors died for have nothing in their platform to honor that sacrifice that our ancestors made. Again, show me the legislation that does anything to help that native black descendant of slaves.
H.R. 40. John Conyers, H.R. 40.
John Conyers, H.R. 40, which is what, sir?
That's
right. That's get on the floor. Hold it.
But see, you just going off. You're not listening. John Conyers, H.R. 40, couldn't get put on the floor because Republicans were in power. Who was the first Democrat to defend John Conyers when they came for him and forced him to resign? Who was it?
Don't remember.
It was Nancy Pelosi.
Okay.
Look it up. So, everything in black and white, our party needs to be better. But, at this hour, we don't have nothing else. And you're talking to a brother, so I'm not just talking that stuff. I tried, you could ask Ben about me, Bobby. I tried to form a black political party.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And see, you're not listening though. You're not listening. I tried. Jesse Jackson tried, and people didn't want to do it. Mm-hmm. But the reality is that the de facto practical reality, the Democratic Party is or could be a black political party if we make it do what it's supposed to do. Because we
do what it do. That's right.
We make the party what it is. See, Jeremy,
right.
Jeremy, you're not listening, though, Jeremy. You're not listening, Jeremy. Jeremy, you're being disrespectful and you're not listening. You already got a comeback and you're not listening. The black vote determines who wins and who loses in the Democratic Party.
Yes, sir.
That's power.
But at the same time, nothing is being offered to the black voter.
I just said that. I just said
Nothing.
something being offered, and you doing
like,
Russian. But see, you're doing Russia now. That's not true. It's
I'm
not
not
true to
doing
say
Russia. I'm
you're
doing
not.
black-
You're
I'm
not.
doing
That's not
black
true because
man.
there are black Democrats in office all over the country, from top to bottom, national and local. And to say none of them are doing nothing in the black community is what black Republicans say. And you just sound just like one of them.
Oh, no, sir. No, sir.
That's
no,
what.
sir.
No, I'm not lying. That's not my opinion. Black. That's you sound like Kanye. Kanye says that, and maybe you don't. Maybe you not Kanye, and maybe that's not what you mean. But you are reciting the very same words. I gotta go. I gotta go. Let me do this, Bobby. Hold on. I got to take a quick break, and I'm gonna try to get just one or two more quick calls for you before we go. Can you hang on for me? Hold on. Bobby Henry is fascinating. Meet the Black Press, Westside Gazette. We flushing this out. Something fishy going on in Florida.
Absolutely.
We'll be back. This is MIP. When a commercial break, everybody watching on our streams, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Good to have Bobby Henry on. We'll be right back. A little bit more with Bobby Henry, not a lot of time. Those of you on hold, 30 seconds. Get ready. Go ahead and get your comment ready. Can the callers hear me when I'm talking like this? I think so. So those of you on hold, and I may only get to Robert, Bill, and maybe Norm. I'll try. 30 seconds or less. Robert, Bill, Norm, Newt, I'll try. Go ahead. Get right to the point. God bless you. Good morning, all of you. I'm going to even, edit the greeting so we can just get right to it. Go right to your point for Bobby Henry or the Westside Gazette. We'll be back live on the air in a minute. Amy, I don't have time. I'm in a break. I'm going to take you on break because I don't have time for you on there. Go ahead, Amy.
I kind of agree with the guy, the last caller.
So you think we should lead it? You think we should lead the Democratic Party?
Not at all. Let me.
That's what he's saying, though, Amy. So you don't agree with him?
I'm more from a rural area, and I think the Democratic Party has forgotten the rural roots too. And if the poor can all unite, we can really make some changes.
Well, okay, fair enough. Has the Democratic Party forgotten the rural area, or has racism appealed to the rural area, and those people been pulled in the Republican Party?
Absolutely, but you know what? If nobody's appealing to them at all, like we've talked before about Barack Obama, who I really like, but he never comes to Kentucky to talk, and he's there. A lot of the rural people feel like, well, we're just being left out, and the only people courting them are these horrid,
okay, fair enough. I think it's a two-way street, though, because yes, we need to have a 50-state strategy, and I think we just saw that in the midterms. But secondly, some of your folk down there need to meet us halfway and cut back on some of their racism. Just because we don't visit you don't give you right to be racist. I got to go, though, Amy. Love you. Have a good weekend. All right. We're coming. Okay, Mike. It's not over. At least we hope it's not. Bobby Henry, Westside Gazette, Meet the Black Press, National Newspaper Publishers Association. Real quick, talking about Florida. Hit and quit it. Robert in Michigan. God bless you. Go. Robert.
Hi.
Hurry.
I just wanted to say that it's a little messed up that you guys aren't talking about how Brenda Snipes has in the past had these same issues with the whole election. She basically been
is that true, Bobby?
You know, and we could take little bits and pieces of anything to make it try to fit. You know, the issue she had was not like what they're doing right now. There was some issues, but not like what's happening right now. Those were minor issues. Remember, she was just coming into office, so yeah, she had her growing pains, but she overcame that.
And it ain't like Brenda Snipes. It's Florida, Robert. That's what Florida does under the administration of Jeb Bush, who appointed her. It's tricky down there. Bill's in Virginia. Last word, quickly, Bill.
Yes, I think the issue y'all are missing about Ms. Snipes is this. And as far as anything
Here we
happens
go.
in the back or what's going on,
Hurry.
The difference between it's the difference between malfeasance where you're doing something for a bad reason, but sometimes misfeasance. Some people, for whatever reasons, don't have the capability.
Right, because she's black. Right, she don't have the capability. That's a real intelligent way to talk about black people. All right.
No,
Name a white person you've accused of misfeasance. Real quick, give me a name. Name one white person you've ever accused of misfeasance. Go. Crickets. Nothing. See that, Bobby?
You right. You own it. There's something about the truth when it hits you in the face.
You see how he didn't have no. I asked him, he didn't even respond, Bobby.
No.
Bobby, I like you, man. We good together, brother. Huh?
Hey, Mark, I like you too, man. I like this.
We gotta do this.
Boy, it ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun.
We got to get back together, brother. Hey, listen,
Yes, sir.
holler at me.
I'm going to call you back when I find out some more information about
Well, hold up, Bobby. I'm going to put you on hold and give you my cell phone number off air. And then you can call me later, okay?
Okay, that'll work.
Hold on for me. Folks, we got to get out of here. Sirius XM Progress 127, Resistance Radio. If all minds are clear. Hope everybody has a great weekend. If all minds are clear, it has been made plain.